They're preparing the live stream. And I got you a copy of the agenda, John.
Oh.
Hey, Rebecca, can you hear us? She's muted. We are streaming. Rebecca, can you hear me?
Rebecca is showing us that your microphone is muted.
Hey, Rebecca, can you hear us? Oh. She's muted. Live streaming. Yep. We are. Rebecca, can you hear me?
You hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
It's showing us that your microphone is muted.
All righty. I'm doing this on the iPad, so it's a little different from my computer, but good morning.
Muted.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. We're gonna close that.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Rebecca, we can hear you. I'm
All
gonna Councilmember Moy is going to start the meeting, and then when we're ready for you, we'll let you know. All right?
All right.
Okay.
At 4 a.m. on Monday, June 21st. I'd like to call the special personnel committee meeting to order and acknowledge that the press and public have been duly notified in accordance with the Freedom of Information Act. The purpose of today's meeting is twofold. We are interviewing candidates for an ATAX committee vacancy as well as for the city attorney. We're going to start off by interviewing the third and final candidate for the ATAX vacancy, Rebecca Kovalich. Hello. She's with us virtually via Zoom. Thank you for joining us today. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, this is, so just to recap, the ATAX committee advises city council on the distribution and expenditure of accommodations tax revenue. This is a state statute for any municipality that receives over $50,000 by South Carolina Code of Law, section 6-4-25A, and there's the Accommodations Tax Act, excuse me. So first of all, Rebecca, we're always so grateful and humbled by the citizens who put their names in the hat for these positions. It's really a treasure trove of experience and just expertise that come to us. So thank you for being willing to serve in this capacity. We're really appreciative of your time this morning and the willingness to serve this term that will end at the end of 2023, I believe, right? December 31st, 2023. We just have a couple of basic questions that we want to ask to get to know you a little bit better to help us make our decision. The first being, just tell us a little bit about what motivates you to become involved in city government, please.
Well, I was discussing with other people more involvement in the community. The ATAX committee is interesting in that I have the ability, being in the laboratory world, which is the most regulated industry in the country, second only to banks and laboratories. And I have developed a frame of reference or an understanding about complex legal tax issues. I felt that my first entry into the community that could be of help which we have had a lot of community involvement, I'm glad to see, is the ATAX committee. It has, from what I understand, which I really don't completely understand, it has a very, very complicated a structure on how money is how we have given money to Charleston and how the money is being spent. And I don't know if we know how the money's being spent, and do we really need to send them that much money? Depends on how they're applying it. But that is the reason I decided to interview for the ATAX committee, to see if my understanding from my background would help in resolving some of the complex issues and maybe streamlining some of the complex issues that the ATAX committee has.
This particular vacancy is one that represents hospitality professional, right? Is that the right way to say it? Can you speak a little bit to your experience or your involvement in the hospitality realm?
Well, my hospitality is I have owned 4 rental homes on the Isle of Palms. I now have sold them, and I still have 1 left, which I am continuing to keep in Wild Dunes. I worked with Wild Dunes several years ago in hospitality as a part-time concierge. I had the ability to understand what people wanted and what they were given. And it's a very interesting field for the service industry of hospitality. But owning a property, an oceanfront home on the Isle of Palms that I rent through a property manager, is quite interesting in the aspect of what people expect. Again, what they expect and what they are given. But that is more or less, I have owned property in Isle of Palms since 2002. And I have rented out houses since 2002. So I have a basic understanding, again, of hospitality, and having worked with Wild Dunes on a part-time basis as front desk and concierge.
Go. Rebecca, hi, how are you? One of the issues we've had with ATAX is attendance, and I know you do have business commitments around being out of town. What do you anticipate the time commitment, and frankly, do you have the time so that we can ensure that we actually have a quorum for the ATAX meetings, which has been frankly very, very inconsistent historically of people showing up and participating?
I can be available as long as I have notice. I'm usually my primary residence is in Isle of Palms. And that's the only concern I have. As long as I have a knowledge of when the meeting is going to be, it'd be very difficult if I were out of state and was notified that morning. But as long as I have ample notice of when the meetings are going to be, I can understand that quorum is incredibly important, and it's incredibly important for everybody to be there.
I jumped ahead.
No, that's okay. Thank you very much, Rebecca. We try not to grill you when you're volunteering of your time and your brain power, so we try not to make this overly grueling. I think that those are the main questions that we want to ask everybody. So Unless you have anything else you'd like to share, this is perfect and we really appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate your going to the trouble of interviewing me by way of Zoom. And I thank you very, very much. And if there's if there are any questions you need to ask me, I think all of you have my email and phone number, so don't hesitate to give me a call.
Okay.
Will do. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Sure. I will make a motion now, in accordance with South Carolina Code 30-4-70A1 to go into executive session to discuss personnel matters related to the applications for boards and commissions as well as for the city attorney. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.